Hi, we're here in the kitchen with Joyce White. She's joined us to help us come up with some great dishes for our Kwanzaa celebration. And Joyce, it's a pleasure to have you here. Also a cookbook author. You wrote a book called Soul Food.
Yes, recipes that were collected from black churches across country. It's good down-home cooking that's served in churches.
All those church ladies really know how to cook. And you're making some gumbo, and the thing that I love about gumbo is that it has everything except the kitchen sink, but just wonders of flavor and color and the sort of the natural ingredients from the sea and from the farm. So that's what we're going to start doing, is layering those flavor in a big pot.
It's a wonderful, wonderful party dish, a celebration, because so much is going on. You can invite somebody to come over and help you cook it and do it the day before the party, before the party. It's my favorite dish for entertaining, especially during Kwanzaa.
Yeah. Well, we are browning off some chicken. We have some that's already browned. So you want to just start that chicken, in other words, you use just legs and thighs. Those are the nice juicy parts.
Yeah, I like the wings too, but since guests are coming, I don't need to use the legs and thighs. But I love to put chicken wings in it as well. Okay, great.
All right, so we can take these out and let those join into the other ones that are browned. Okay.
Great, just nice and golden brown and crispy. That adds additional flavor to the gumbo. The little crusty bits there.
Yeah. Got the chicken down now, and we still have a little bit of oil in that pan. We're gonna, I'll slice up these onions for you.
Okay.
Now these are those things that you could have all your friends help with.
Okay, exactly.
It's just the two of us here, we can probably speed things up. All right, here you go.
Okay, great.
Put those.
I'll take a spoon to stir in. Okay, great. Yeah.
Now all of those onions will cook way down, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
As they begin to caramelize. In your family, I take it?
My sister was a cook in Alabama at a local cafe, and she was known throughout the county for her wonderful fried chicken and chocolate cake and things. Oh, she was a great cook. She was my inspiration. Yeah. That's how I got started.
Now that's a little smoked sausage.
Okay.
You could add, I've seen little ham cubes and whatnot. There we go with some diced bell peppers and the celery chopped also fine. So you got that, what they call that trinity of aromatics for the gumbo.
Yeah, the celery, onion, and the bell pepper. The holy trinity.
And now you start layering in your flavorings, huh?
Yeah. Some chopped parsley. You could also use basil if you like. Garlic, of course, and this can be very finely chopped. And, of course, hot pepper. You don't have to use the paper flakes. You could use the regular pods of pepper, and there are many different varieties of hot peppers, like the and the habaneros and all of those. A little bit of thyme here as well. Okay.
That's real traditional, isn't it, for gumbo, to put some fresh thyme or dried thyme in there?
Dried thyme, yeah. I always do that, even with the other herbs, because it adds a nice little pungent flavor to it, yeah. And you let this cook until the vegetables are thoroughly wilted down, thoroughly sauteed, yeah.
Okay. And then after that, you actually, we're going to remove those.
Okay.
Right? We'll presume that those have cooked a
little
bit longer, obviously.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, that. Because we're going to use the same pot to make the roux, which is a thickening, and this is really, really special.
Okay, now it's time to start that roux.
Oh, yeah.
Famous
New Orleans, New Orleans connection, the roux, the Louisiana connection. The roux really is the heart of the gumbo, yeah. They say the first gumbo came out of the plantation kitchens of Louisiana, New Orleans, in the 1740s, when the African cooks began to make a lentil dish for Lent. It was called a mess of greens, we used to call it home. It was just a great big pot of greens stewed together. And one of the primary ingredients, of course, was okra. And okra is indigenous to Africa. And the Bantu word for okra is gumbo. And that's the reason, that's how it got the name, yeah. And of course, so that's how it all started. Okay, I'm making the roux. The classic roux is just a combination of flour and oil. And you just stir it until it takes a nice golden color.
A regular brown roux, though, will take about 10 or 15 minutes.
10 or 15 minutes to get it to a nice, nutty, caramel color. I like to say until it's the color of peanuts or walnuts or something like that. Yeah, nice and you can see this is picking up color as we cook. But this will take 10 or 12 minutes. Okay, yeah. This is the roux. Now, this is, to me, absolutely a perfect color. You see, it's light tan, golden. Okay, so now we can dump in.
Stage.
Next stage. Here are the great tomatoes, part of that trinity of tomatoes and okra. We see we have these trinities going with this dish. Now we have to add all the stuff we've taken out.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All of those vegetables.
All the wonderful vegetables that we sauteed. Okay. Oh, okay.
And the chicken.
And the chicken.
All right.
Oh, okay.
You need a big pot for gumbo.
A big pot. You know, gumbo is a big party. I always make a lot because I invite over a lot of people. It's a celebration. Do it the day before, and you can eat off it for the next 2 or 3 days after everybody just is gone.
All right, what's next now? We got to put some kind of liquid in there.
Yes, of course. This is a homemade fish stock. It's made with shells of the shrimp. And you can put in onion and garlic and, you know,
flavor it
bay leaf, however you like. And most important, about 6 or 7 cups of water. You let it cook, put some peppercorns.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, and these...
4 or 5 enough here.
Okay.
I got a little messy here, but we can clean that up.
Just, I mean, the idea, I love the idea that you don't waste those shells from the shrimp. So many people just trim their shrimp.
No, they're
peel
full
them
of
and that's it.
flavor. This just adds another layer of flavor to the dish to have the extracted flavor from the shells. And we don't, you know, this is soul food. We don't throw away anything. You know, we use everything.
Well, soul food is kind of a food of necessity, isn't it?
Of course.
It comes out of-
Creativity, using what's on hand. So this is it. You're going to let this cook now for, about an hour, you know, 50 minutes to an hour, because you want the chicken to finish cooking, you want the flavors to meld, and you can just kind of go and sit and, you know, have a cocktail while this is cooking.
Well, this is cooking. Now, we have a pot that is at that stage where it's cooked, that same as this, except that it's cooked down a little bit. So let's just go over to this side.
Okay. Usually, I make this the day before, up to this stage.
Up to that.
Yeah, and then on the day of the party, I add the okra, the seafood, and the
spices
and
here.
the spices here.
It's your salt.
Okay. Yeah.
Pepper.
Okay. So a little bit of salt in here, and some more pepper. I love pepper.
Ground black pepper.
Cracked pepper, nice and peppery.
Some bay leaf.
Bay leaf. Again. Okay.
So the longest part of cooking is leading up to this. and then
Exactly.
this is sort of
Exactly.
the finishing of it.
Yeah. So that's all done, and now we can go. You can use fresh okra if it's available. If not, canned okra is fine. I use it all the time. Okay. I mean frozen okra.
Right.
Oh, look how beautiful that looks. And we add the seafood. So
Okay.
I'll take about half of that. Here.
All right.
Yeah.
Just spoon off what you want.
Okay. And
There's some beautiful shrimp there waiting to go in.
That's fine.
And
And the
some oysters. I'd never used oysters in gumbo, but what a great idea.
use all of this. You can you can make it. You know, you can use half shrimp. You can use all oysters. You know, you don't use whatever. But since this is a Gulf Coast and it's seafood, I went a little heavy on the seafood. Okay, so this is it.
And so that's got to cook for just enough for the okra to get
tender. Yeah, 10 or 15 minutes, because everything will cook during this period. And now after that cooks, we get to the critical part, whether or not you should or should not add the gumbo filet.
Gumbo filet.
Okay, that's something that's made from what we call the sassafras leaves. This is where the American Indian contribution to this dish. So this herb indigenously in Louisiana. Now what I do before I mix it in is just to reach in here and just get a little bit of the liquid out of here. And then I take a spoon to just mix it up so it won't clump and can easily dissolve. And just...
Now, a lot of people wouldn't have some gumbo filet in their kitchen. This is a great. Does it have any thickening power, or is it just that distinctive flavor?
It has a little thickening power to it. Yes, yeah. When I'm making this dish, and if I'm not going to consume it all in one setting, I will just take out half of it and then thicken it with the gumbo, with the filet, and then next time I use it, I do it again. Just turn this in like this.
I would think that making this for a Kwanzaa celebration, you want to go with everything. You want to go with the seafood and the chicken and the sausage and the okra, and just go all out. That's what holidays are all about.
Oh yeah, it's once a year. Kwanzaa is increasingly popular within the African American. It has gone international. I remember one year I was in France, and the Africans there were celebrating Kwanzaa too. So it's celebrated in the Caribbean. So it has grown in popularity. Yeah. It's just another example of another way of saying that we have a culinary history.